Welcome to the Planet Paintball Podcast, the ultimate podcast for paintball enthusiasts. Each week, we dive into the world of paintball, bringing you stories, insights, and tips from players, coaches, and industry insiders. Sponsored by 1023 Sportswear. Looking for high-quality gear that performs as hard as you do? Check out 1023 Sportswear. And as a listener of the Planet Paintball Podcast, you can get 20% off your order with the code Planet Paintball. Suit up, save big, and play your best.
All right, welcome to the Planet Paintball Podcast. Today, I have Josh with me from the NGXL Barrel Ridge Barbies and Barrel Ridge Paintball.
BR Factory.
And BR Factory. And then 1020 Sportswear. Josh, just kind of tell us when you started playing, and then we'll take it from there, man.
I started playing when I was 13 years old back in 2003. I got shot in the back of the head by my brother, and I wanted to kind of take vengeance out on him and we played a match. I won. I got addicted to the stupid game. We started playing in the woods. We built all these little pellet forts and stuff like that. It kind of kept growing, and all of our friends in the neighborhood kept coming over. And then one weekend, me and my brother and one of our friends actually went to an airball field and played there for the first time, and I fell in love with that. And the owner asked me to come out for tryouts the following weekend. No chance in hell I was going to be able to make a paintball team. That was always a dream. Right? I made it, unfortunately. And then, that's what all my weekends consist of. So now we're here.
Day in and day out from then on out.
Nice. Yeah, I started working there for my paintball monies. I worked my tail off, building fields, pulling bunkers, building, setting poles, mowing the grass. And I'd get a box of paint. And when I would say a box of paint, it was a white box, and it comes in one single bag. And when you take the bag of paint out, it was clumped together like a brick. I'd brick it up. It's the worst paint in the world.
Must have been that Nelson Big Ball.
I don't even know what brand it was. It was terrible.
So how did you play nationally back then, or was it all regional still?
So back then, it was right before APPA really took off. So we did a lot of regional paintball, MESPAs, CFOA. CFOA was actually APPA, but MESPA, CFOA, ACEs. We did a ton of ACEs, and then we did a lot of PSPs.
Okay. And what teams did you play for?
Started out as Kamikaze Paintball or Kamikaze, and then we went to. I got picked up by one of my oldest teammates. We call him Shaggy. We play. I think it was called. What were we called back then? The Black Sheep, Kamikaze Black Sheep, because we felt like nobody wanted us. But we won a ton of tournaments together. And then after we started showing that we were really good, we got picked up and formed like a master team called No Mercy. And that was when that formed was when we were the best. We played Division III, won a lot of Division III tournaments, won a lot of open tournaments, and that was my pride of paintball back in the day.
I mean, in between the Carolinas and Georgia, it was a really good little scene there for a while.
Yeah, back when CFOA was at its peak, I swear there's 100 to 150 teams at every event. It was an event. That's what I want to see. I want to bring that back. So if we could get that kind of scene back, that would be amazing.
Yeah, that would be. So you took a little bit of a break, and then you decided to come back in? Yeah,
so I started my construction company, and it took off. So I took a 5-year break, and then Insane Paintball was closing down their Chattanooga facility, and Travis and Shaggy and Sam, they all wanted to go play, the farewell day, the last weekend it was open. So I went and bought a paintball gun before I went out there because I wasn't going to be underprepared, that's for sure. And then we came back and we played that next weekend. Everybody's like, okay, let's go play again. Let's go find another place to play. So we started playing at WPP, and it was a 3-hour drive just to go there every single weekend. And then it just started it was snowball affecting. I ended up buying another paintball gun and another tank and another loader, another mask, and it was history since then. So we just kept on. Now Shaggy's still playing with me. We're playing nationally this year. It may be mine and his last year to play, especially together. So we're gonna do the best we can to win this thing.
So you're playing on the semi-pro line?
No, I'm not that good anymore. There's no way I could play anymore. I'm actually ranked Division 4 again, so we're going to take advantage of the Division 4 rankings.
Nice. So how many teams do you guys have right now?
Under my umbrella, we have a total of 12 teams under my umbrella. So I have I kind of control 12 teams total. That's semi-pro all the way down to Division 6.
That's a lot. So what do you do for, I mean, there's got to be help, right? Or
So essentially,
is
I
there help?
have, oh God, yes, absolutely. There's no way I run the Division 4 national team, and that's enough for me. So, Taylor Griggs, and he's my biggest supporter at the field. He runs, I think, 4 of the teams himself. Poor guy. But we assign captains to every team to kind of like run their own team. You're essentially their own team, but under our brand.
Okay. So they're a little self-sustaining in that sense then.
Yeah, but we do have rules. You can't be an asshole. We don't, my biggest image that we're trying to portray here is to take away the old school style paintball, the hate ball, where people just, cuss each other, want to fight, want to do this. We try to keep it as level as possible, family friendly. We want you to bring your child to enjoy the atmosphere. And if people are just cussing and fighting, doing whatever, getting drunk, smoking pot or anything like that, it's not a good image, and we try to keep that as far away as we possibly can. It makes it a lot easier when all the families can come and enjoy it. So when the teams are having the same kind of morals, it makes it a lot easier to manage.
Yes, it does. It can be very rough if you get a bad egg in an organization, or even an egg that's just going in a different direction.
For sure.
So you came back. Obviously, you're playing speedball. Take us through the creation of the field and the league. I kind of feel like they
go hand in
train
hand,
tracks,
right?
go side by side, right?
Yeah. So like I mentioned earlier, when I came back, I had to drive 3 hours to go to play paintball anywhere, and I hated it. So I was actually on the road because I traveled for work, and we tried to play. I played paintball in Louisiana. We called 4 fields, and they were all closed down. I told one of the guys, like, just ask if they'll sell the field. They said, yeah, we'll sell it to you for $2,500. Well, first off, there's no way I could get all the material to my house from Louisiana. So I was like, okay. So I put in a group chat, just joking around with Shaggy and Travis and Sam. They're like, oh yeah, let's just do it. Let's just build the field. I'm like, first off, where are we going to get land at? There's nowhere to get land. And me and my wife was actually in the process of buying property to build a house. And we were looking for 5 to 10 acres. And her dad sent us a link that says, hey, here's 21 acres. So I was like, okay, well, we could build a paintball field there. I talked my wife into it. She thought it was a great idea. She didn't know what she was getting into. So we put in an offer on the property. It actually fell through. And then we found the 23 acres we're on now. Built the paintball field before I even built my house. And we the hydro seeded. We hydro seeded the whole property. I kept water on it all the time, and the grass would not take. I put in a poll like, hey, who would want to play on turf? It's very expensive, so I'm going to have help. So we got to figure out something to do. So somebody has suggested to put together a singular tournament to help, raise funds to pay for the turf. Okay, that's fine. Okay, I'll do that. So we put together the single tournament. And it just blew up. And so I was like, okay, well, that's kind of cool. And I'm a very eager person. So like anything I have interest in and I put thought into it, I'm going to figure out a way to make it happen. So I turned it into the NGXL, the North Georgia X-Ball League, to have the whole series. I talked to the landowner. I found the land where I'm at now. And he's like, oh, yeah, you can go play paintball on it. That sounds like a cool idea. That sounds like a lot of fun. And I was like, okay, sounds good. So I put it together. He comes out to the first event. He says, whoa. I thought there's just going to be a bunch of old men wearing like sweaters and sweatshirts and just planning on shooting each other. I was like, oh, it's a little bit more organized than that. And he says, obviously, the first event we had 27 teams. The next one we had 37 teams. The third event we had 47, and then 57. We grew. The first year we grew 10 teams per event by the time it was over. And I was like, okay, we really have something here. So the following year, I just invested even more money into it. I was hiring out the air, and I invested in our own air systems, and then a new set of anchors, and then always kept investing, and then kept growing. And now we're, season 3, and we're constantly still investing. We got a whole new premier field that's going to be, being developed for this season. We're going to be filming this entire season as like episodes. So we're gonna have like little mini episodes throughout the whole season, so people can kind of reflect back on and have that to show their grandkids. And hey, this is really cool. This is me playing. We're going to capture every single team, try to capture every single player in the pits, on the field, in the parking lot, everything like that, just to kind of make it really exciting. Something different that nobody else is doing. Even NXL, when you go to an NXL, the experience starts and ends at the event. You really can't, unless you take pictures or have videos taken, NXL is not doing anything for you to make it any better for you to remember or to share with your friends and family. It's the biggest thing is like that extra little mile, that extra steps that we can take to make your experience the best experience in the paintball world.
That's awesome. I feel like you guys were ahead of it last year with streaming the events too.
Yeah, we actually started the very first event we ever did. We live streamed it. YB Sports, Mike Yarberry. I played on a couple of tournaments with him way back in the day. And he approached me at the very first event that we even tried to do. Me and one of my friends put together a little 3-man event. We called it the Barn Brawl. It was in a pasture of 3-man, 15 balls a second, sideline coaching. It was a blast. I actually played that one, so it was great. But he came up to me, he's like, hey, this is what I want to do. I said, I know what you're doing, and I think it's really cool, and I want to be a part of it. What can I do? And I said, I'd love to. I don't even know where we're going to go with all this, but that sounds great to me. Mm-hmm. And I think I give a lot of the success to him because without the live stream, we're missing 4,000 views per event. We have 4,000 plus of views per event at a small Georgia league. So it's really cool.
Well, I know when I was playing it, I shared it and my wife would put it on for my kid to watch. And
yeah, it's awesome.
It was a nice way for them to kind of see what I was often doing,
Right, for sure.
So,
and, with speaking of the wife and kids, another thing that we kind of try to do is bring families out, get them involved, right? So we have the jelly ball now. We have every event. We have, what is it called? Bounce houses and slides and water slides and slushies, cotton candy, dried candy, or freeze-dried candy, all the little things the kids would be enjoying while dad's having fun, or mom now, because we have the women's team. We got the whole girls team playing the NGXL and NXL this year. So it's really about the whole family.
It's awesome. It's it's very noticeable the extra steps you guys do when you go down there.
Appreciate it.
If we weren't so far away, we would
it'd be a lot easier. I get it.
It'd be easier, but I would bring the kids. If it was an hour away, I'd definitely bring the kids. Or when I make the trip down, it's about 2.5, 3-ish. For me, so it's a little much to pack them all up for the day. So the new Premier Field, doing the videoing. Anything else new for the 2025 season?
Anything more? We have a pro shop now, so you can buy all your essentials at the field now. You don't have to, make sure you bring every single thing. We're going to try our best to have everything stocked that you're going to need. But it's brand new. It's not even 2 months old. We're still, developing that. We're still trying to finish it off. But by the first event, it'll be ready. Hoping it's full stocked. Could be a little scarce. Not really sure if everything's going to get here in time. And then the youth league is really growing. Currently, we have roughly about 20 to 24 kids. So that's really growing for us. And that's very important for the series. And then for Bear Ridge in general, we have, we're building a 40-acre recreation park across the highway. So we'll have 2 tracks. So we'll have on one side of the road, you'll have the competitive side. The other side of the road, you'll have recreation.
Awesome. Just to go back to the youth league a little bit, do kids sign up for that individually or as a team?
So if you have a friend and you want to, pair with your friend or a brother. So we have a couple of kids that have that are brothers that's playing it, a couple of twins. And then if you don't have, a friend that wants to play paintball, then there's a ton more that doesn't have friends. So we just pair them up. Times it comes down to it where we have to kind of switch up teams for those kids that don't have their, dedicated teams. Because some kids don't make an event or we'll put 3 players on a 2-man roster and kind of let them rotate in and out as they see fit. It does mean the kids hurts a little bit sometimes. So some of the kids don't want to play every single point. So it's fun. It's just a fun little thing.
Gotcha. So you're doing, is it 2-on-2 that you're doing with the kids or?
Yeah, it's 2. So I assumed that when we started building this, that trying to find 2 friends to come with you would be really difficult. Trying to find one would be a little easier. So we did the 2-on-2. It's basically 5-man style until you get to playoffs, and the playoffs is like a race to 2.
Okay.
it only lasts, roughly 2 to 3 hours. We're not trying to, burn the kids out. We just want them to have a good time. The way we have it set up, though, is whenever they play the tournament, they'll play for 2 or 3 hours. And if they continue to want to play, then we give them unlimited paint to play recreation paintball all day long.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Are they playing 68 or 50?
Well, it was 50, but I got tired of getting shot by those hurting little things, man. Those things hurt so bad. We only shoot, and for 68 at Bear Ridge, we only shoot, tournament grade paint. And it hurts way less for those kids with 68s for the tournament grade paint than it does the 50 cal.
Yeah. The 50 cal can be really rough when it comes to the paint.
Gosh, they hurt. And like the kids get upset because when you ask, do they want to play bounces or does it have to break? 90% of the kids say, oh, it has to break. I'm like, okay. And then they get upset because they shoot Billy Bob over here 15 times, but he didn't get out. They didn't break. 50 cal paint doesn't break. So I'm like, what do you want me to do? Like, I can't pull him out after everybody, agreed that we're only playing breaks.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome, man. I really like that. You mentioned the pro shop. That's a pretty big step.
Yeah.
For both the tournament and the field.
Right. For sure. It's nothing big. It's a small little, I think it's like 400 square feet. It's nothing huge. It's just enough to kind of get you in there, get your essentials and kind of, keep D. So D takes care of the field, for like paint sales and injury and stuff like that on the every given weekend. For 2 years, she's been outside under a tent, rain or shine, cold, snow, whatever, taking paint. So I felt so bad for her. So we finally, built, got a little shop built for her so that she can have somewhere to stay a little more dry and warm.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm sure she'll be appreciative of it.
Yeah.
As a field owner, what do you see the role as a pro shop in this? It's not a new digital age, but in this digital age of online shopping, like, are you planning on stocking it with high-end stuff or?
So we will. Markers, not so certain about, unless it's like used markers. We'll probably have some used markers in there, but we'll always be able to order you anything that you want, and trying to stock it, tens of thousands of dollars worth of markers is just not something that I would really want to do. I don't really, the pro shop to me for the field and the series is just, like I said, just the small essentials: swabs, pods, packs, masks, lens, tanks, those kind of things that, hey, I need it right now. I can't wait on it. A marker you can wait on.
Yeah. Markers and tanks you can wait on for sure. Even loaders to a extent.
Yeah.
So.
You get some speed feeds in there, make sure that, there's things that, they break right now and you just can't wait until Amazon delivers one tomorrow.
Yeah. So when do you guys break ground on the recreational side?
Yeah, we broke ground about 3 weeks ago. We should be done in about a month. We'll be done in about a month. We're pretty much done with all the fields themselves. We just gotta install the netting, and I think we'll be good. We'll have our new compressor for that side tomorrow. Actually, today's Thursday. Yeah, tomorrow. I'll be here tomorrow.
How many fields do you guys end up building over there?
So I've got 3 massive fields. So it can be broken down into probably 8 fields total. But when it has a larger group, then we'll make 3 massive fields to play against each other. It's really cool. We have one that's going to be a town. It's really neat where you can kind of like go in and out of different kind of little buildings. The other one's going to be like an urban area. It's actually an old moonshine house. You'll still see like the piping and stuff like that from the moonshine. There's 2 houses that's actually collapsed and fallen down, and one of them you'll see hundreds of bottles of like the old Snapple glass bottles, and they were actually used to fill moonshine. So I'm kind of we're building some split rail fences around that. We're not going to take any of that away. Kind of make that the aesthetics and kind of make that the map of Moonshine Hill or something like that, because it is a bit of an incline, but it's the way we have it developed. It's in like a horseshoe. So one person would start on the top of the hill, one on the bottom of the hill, and they'll go around the entire thing to battle. It's going to be pretty cool. And then
that
the
sounds
other one's
pretty awesome.
And then the other one's just with ball. So we'll be having paintball and airsoft over there. So I think that's going to be a really good hit.
Yeah, it'll be a big hit for the area. Speaking of which, I don't think we said like exactly where you are, except in North Georgia. So
yeah, we're in Jasper, Georgia. So we're actually the marble capital of the United States. Right there, the ground we're on is actually the marble capital of the United States. Like when you're playing at our field and you look toward the creek and up on top of that hill, there's a 25-mile long marble vein. And I think pretty sure it's like 1,400 feet deep. I have nothing but
Wow.
marble. So, and you'll see a lot of our stuff for NGXL and Bear Ridge. It'll be in the marble pattern. It's kind of like representing marble that we're actually standing on. So there's tons of mines under the ground we'll plant on. Every now
That's
and then
awesome.
every now and then you'll see a sinkhole that we have to fill in because some of the it's just settling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had no clue that was what I knew the marble thing, but I didn't realize that you had incorporated that into the t-shirts. So that's really awesome. I like that. What kind of rentals you guys running out there?
We have a lot of Titman 98 customs.
Okay.
Yeah.
The solid rental, never gonna die.
You can't go wrong with those things. You can dip them in a bucket of water and just go back out and shoot them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the original AK-47, if you will.
Yeah, that's right.
Paintball world. So you guys have been doing rentals though, like on the speedball side too, right?
We have been, yeah. So like we probably do during the summer. We'll probably do about 6 a week. Nothing really big, but it is growing. It's picking up pretty drastic. So we do a ton of it.
Before we get off the paintball field stuff and go into like the teams, what advice would you give to someone who wanted to open up a paintball field?
Are you trying to do it out of passion or are you trying to make money? It's a question that you got to ask yourself. So like, if you're doing it out of passion, absolutely build it. It's one of the most fun things I've ever done. If you're trying to make money, may not be the business that you want to venture into. There's not a ton of money into it, especially on the competitive side. Recreation, there's a little bit more money, but make sure if you're going to build a field that you are passionate about it because you're going to go hungry if this is the only job you have.
That's good advice. So I get it. Have you only been in the industry the last 3 years, or have you?
So
like from a not from a playing perspective, but a business owner perspective.
Yeah, so I just started it, 3 years ago. It was 3 years ago. I mean, when I first started, I worked at Kamikaze for like the first 3 years of me playing paintball. So, I mean, I kind of understand what it takes to build the fields and all the extra kind of stuff. And then I really have one of my biggest mentors. I mean, a lot of people know him, Mario Moresco out of Canton. He owned Nitro Paintball. So like, he's given me so much information. He's given me so much help, always sending me new ideas and stuff like that. So, I mean, I couldn't do what I'm doing without him for sure. But yeah, I mean, I've never really owned a paintball field. I just kind of dove, head first into it. I built the field at my house and then, our neighbors got a little pissy at us. So we ended up going over to the property we're at now full time. And that's when the actual paintball field and like the whole scene and the teams and everything really started growing is when we went full time over where we're at now.
Any major changes you've seen with the industry since you've been in or since you were a ref?
I definitely think that obviously since I was a ref, it's shrunk, right? So like back then, paintball was plentiful. It was everywhere. Tons of players. But since I've been doing what I'm doing, I think that I've been seeing a lot of growth. And I think that, bringing in the tournament series in Georgia has helped out a lot. But I think that we're on the right track, the right pace to really kind of bring it back to life. And, I know we're going to hit another little wall all the times, but I do think that we're on the right track to kind of build the growth back up, especially for Georgia. So the whole goal for all of this is just to build it back for Georgia. I love the Carolinas. I love what they had. But the thing is, for me, I'm a Georgia boy. We have never had what I am attempting to build. And it's all about, what Georgia has never had is what I want to build. The team organization, we've never really had an organization like we have now. We've never had an X-Ball series. We have plenty of 5-man series, which is 5-man is easy to do. X-Ball is tough. So we've never had an X-Ball series, and we've never had a field that was solely, building off of the competitive side of paintball. So it's all about the growth of Georgia paintball for me.
Nice. Like it. So let's get into the team. You started the field, you start the series, and
right.
Then how the team, did it coincide with all those, or did it come a little after?
So it was always a mission, right? It was always the thought, the forward thinking of, what I'm doing, because you can't build something great and not have true representation, right? So we put together a little Division 4 team to go play CPXL down in Perry, Georgia. We called it BR Factory. I reached out to Alex Hicks. He owns I-75 Paintball. I said, listen, I need a good player. I need somebody that, we can trust. I'm missing that one, solid snake player. And he says, man, I got the perfect player for you. So he sent me Wesley Ward, his information, and we got him on. And I said, man, we did really well. We played very well. And I said, what's it going to take to bring you to play for Bear Ridge all the time? He says, oh, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. And, kept kind of nudging him. And he's like, we'll think about it. We'll talk about it. He was still trying to get the Carolina Crisis thing to go. I was like, I get it. So then Joey DiPolito reached out to me. He says, hey, man, I want to put together a team to play semi-pro. Can we ref the series to help, fund the team? I said, well, I mean, I already have the refs, but I said, if you can go under Bear Ridge, if you can go under BR Factory, we could talk about it. I said, it's the only way I would do it. I said, I already pay refs. So, I mean, I already have the money kind of like, guaranteed for that. So I could pay, most of the refs are wanting to play the series anyway. So I could kind of just plug you guys in. And, so I said, but let's play Division II, because every one of them all of them, but two of them were ranked Division III. So all of them, they could have went and played Division III, but they ended up playing Division II. Obviously, most people know the success that they've reached. And they went to Vegas, got second place. The very first time ever putting this team together. It was like, okay, that's kind of cool. Is this a fluke? Is it real? What's going on? We didn't know. And everybody's like, oh crap, we actually had something going. So then we go to Dallas and we get third place. We're like, okay, this is really freaking cool. Now in Dallas, what was so cool about Dallas, made me really believe in these guys was, and I was actually there for this event. Vegas is the only one I missed. What really made me believe in these guys, and I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. I've never witnessed this my entire life, but they played 7 matches. And out of those 7 matches, they mercy rolled 6, which is incredible. I mean, I was like, holy shit, these guys are really good. So, and then they go to Atlantic City. Second place. Okay. Emotional roller coaster. They should have won the tournament, ended up losing for some bull crap. It seems like it was like that every event. Then, so that was third place. Then went to Chicago, second place. Okay. 4 out of 5 events, we podiumed. We really have a team. We have something that's really going to go good. And then we go to World Cup. And, they're all upset with themselves for not winning first place. And everybody kept telling them, it's like, dude, those tournaments don't matter. You podiumed. All you got to win is World Cup. Win World Cup and you're good. And they win World Cup. They go down, they win World Cup. And man, I mean, it was an incredible experience. It made history in Georgia to have that kind of a standing, a Division II. It made history in Georgia. And I think that's going to be the coolest thing that, Georgia paintball is going to be able to talk about. And, forever. We've had a team called Ultimate that did really good. And then they went pro and they didn't do very well. So we want to make this team, want to take this team to the pro level naturally. So next season we picked up. Next season we're semi-pro. So we picked up Justin Bailey from the Hurricanes. We have Mikey McGowan. Yeah. So Mikey McGowan, he played for Iron Man. And then Cody Smith.
Country, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. That's
yes.
big pickup.
Yeah. So we got and then we'll have 1 spot left for a pro player. We'll see how that works out. But do we want to necessarily win the pro spot this year? No, I think we need another season. But if we happen to win, then that's where we're going to take us.
Yeah.
So we had 2 teams in the national bracket last year. This year we have 5. So we'll have a semi-pro, Division II, Division III, Division IV, and then the WNXL, the amateur WNXL.
Okay. Is that going to be the Barbies?
It is the Barbies, yeah.
Nice.
Those girls are phenomenal, man. They picked up a gun for the very first time back in December. And from then, I mean, those girls picked up the pace. They have a coach. His name is Danny Wilson. That guy's phenomenal when it came to, coaching those girls. He calls me one day. He's like, hey, I want to coach a team, but I want us to be an entry level. I said, I've got a challenge for you. I was like, how do you feel about coaching my wife's team? And he says, I love it. I was like, okay. So now they're playing and, the girls are doing so good and they're so excited. They're going to be playing NGXL this year too. It's going to be co-ed. They're going to do a co-ed team. It's hard to get a bunch of girls to play X-ball. But it's going to come when they start seeing more success from the girls. The girls will start growing a little bigger. And, hopefully we get the call to go to the WNXL pro level. So it'd be kind of cool too.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
That would be what you guys already did was pretty big for Georgia paintball, but having a pro WNXL team would be
that's really cool.
Big landmark there for sure. So how did you convince the wife to finally pick up the gun after a while?
Well, it wasn't me that convinced her. I'll be honest with you. So she So I told you earlier that, the worst decision she ever made was say yes to build a paintball field. So she's there every dang weekend. She's like, man, this is all our life is consisting of, I was like, I understand. I said, but we have a big thing that we're building and we got to continue it out. She's like, you're right. And then a couple of the guys that plays every weekend, their wives were there doing the same thing. Like, why are we here every weekend? Eventually the girl's like, hey, we're here every weekend. We might as well at least try it out. And they tried it out and they loved it. They loved the game. They did really well. Melissa, Tony Garcia's wife, she fell in love with the game way faster than all the other girls. And she was really their motivator. My wife is a little bit more sensitive. And she kept telling me, she said, Josh, I don't want to play anymore. I was like, just get through the pains. You'll love the game once you start doing it. The other day, I was walking down the steps out of my office and she's in the living room with her gun. Just running and gunning back and forth. And I'm like, yeah. So it made it. So it's like, I was like, hey, she plays more paintball than I do now. So like, I can't really, she's going to be way better than me. I told a couple of my buddies that I'm going to quit playing paintball because my wife's going to end up being better than me. And I want to quit while I'm ahead so she can never be better than me.
There you go. I like that strategy. So yeah, I can't remember if we were recording or not, but you're going to play this year nationally. Yeah,
I am. Yeah. So I'm playing the Division 4. I have a really, really strong team. I'm probably the worst step player on the team. So as long as they win for me, I don't care. As long as I win the tournament, I'll ride the bench the whole time. I'm not picking up pods, but I'll ride the bench the whole time. I don't care.
So how's the, is it just BR Factory and then the division they're in as far as team names?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Yeah, so BR Factory for semi-pro is just BR Factory. They are the team, right? So we don't want to take any kind of credit from them. Division 2, I'm sure are you familiar with Cleveland Chaos? Tad Parker?
Yeah.
So they're our D2 team.
We played against them.
Yeah, they're our D2 team now.
Okay.
Yeah, so they came in, they kind of merged with us and took over the D2 team. And Jose Carlton Lewis, Dan Padilla, he played for ML Kings, played for Russian Legion, a couple of players. He's still ranked semi-pro, but he's able to squeak into Division 3. And then myself, Tony Garcia, I mentioned earlier, and then I'll call him Merrick Graham. I only can't pronounce his last name. Merrick played for the Palm Beach Vipers. Phenomenal player. His brother's phenomenal player. Cole Yarberry, Mike Yarberry's son with the YB Sports. He's playing on it. And, I just have a really good roster for the Division 4. And then the girls, it's the Barbies, the BR Factory Barbies at NXL. That's the way it's going to be listed. And we picked up, they picked up Tessa from Northern Lights. They'll be playing with us. And then another girl, one of her friends, her name's Jordan, going to be playing the WNXL. I am with them too.
Nice. For the WNXL, is that 3 events this year, or are they running it every?
I'm not sure how that goes with the WNXL. It's kind of, I haven't really followed it long enough to really understand. And then, they only give you a little bit of, information throughout the year. So I don't know how that's going. I think it is 3 events though. I think it's first, third, and then cup. Pretty sure that's what it is.
Nice. So they'll be making the trip down to Jacksonville then.
But yeah, Tampa.
Yeah. Wish it was Jacksonville.
Yeah, I bet. It's really way closer to you.
Yeah.
I don't know which one's worse, Tampa or Jacksonville, though. I think Tampa's going to be better than Jacksonville.
Probably.
I'm not an Atlantic Coast guy.
So as far as sponsorships this year, is it all Bear Ridge, or you guys got other sponsors for the year?
So we have Carbon. Carbon is coming in as a sponsoring us. We also have 1023 is going to be sponsoring, the national team's clothing. Carbon's going to be doing the unders and the packs. We have Valken. Valken's going to be, Valken's some of the best painting we've shot in years. And, we actually won. I feel like we won Cup because of Valken. We were shooting GI all year long. And then at Cup, we kind of took the leap and shot that paint of shooting lasers and ball on ball accuracy. That kind of helped us secure the win, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going Valken all season long. We were going to go die. But we just couldn't make everything work. Couldn't get everybody to buy into the program. It's kind of tough. So, we just went still unsponsored on that front. We all have guns. We don't necessarily need a gun. The biggest thing for us was not locking ourselves down to one specific supplier. We don't want to marry a supplier and then regret our decisions. So,
gotcha. All right. So the die was just going to be for the guns, though.
No, it was head to toe. It was going to be head to toe.
Oh,
but again, yeah, and that was another reason. It's like, it's really not that important to us because then we have to wear everything and, shoot, with the rotors. I mean, can't say anything about it with the rotors, a great rotor, but some people don't like them, kind of hinders some people's interests. So.
Well, I feel the packages are hard to swallow for the lower divisional guys sometimes, just because they have spent a lot of money on their preferences already.
For sure.
So I'm just trying to make sure we're hitting everything. We've done a lot of it just through talking. Garcia, for some reason, his name keeps popping up in my head, and I don't know why. Do you know who he played for before?
He played with us back in the day. He took a longer break than I did. He took like a 10-year break. I don't think you would have played against him. You may have played. He played NGXL some last year. He played with the Bear Ridge team. Tony Garcia. I don't know. He's about the size of a cat.
It might have been just from hanging out down there last year a little bit.
He's a very vocal person. If you ever met him, you would remember him. So that's probably what you're remembering.
Last year you tried the classic format stuff. Are you gonna try it again this year?
Yeah, so we're gonna do probably 2 events. Last year I tried to do a whole series and just didn't get enough interest. We're gonna try to do 2 events with it. Especially once I get the other side of the road going, I think that we could have a little bit, more interest in it. One thing that we are going to do that would be kind of like in relation with classic is we have across the road, there's a total of 350 acres over there. We're going to try to put together 2 scenario games.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, so 2 of the creators of D-Day over in Oklahoma, they live in Cummings. They come over here all the time, and we're trying to work the kinks out, get everything together, and make sure that things are going to be perfect.
For the teams, is there a coach for every line, or are they self-coach, or is it kind of vary on the line?
Yeah, we don't have coaches. From the very beginning, we've been self-coached. The only team that has an actual coach is the girls, so they're lucky.
Okay.
It's tough to get coaches, man. Like we were in talks with a couple of coaches this year. The one coach we really wanted just didn't work out. He ended up going somewhere else. Kind of sucked. So we haven't really been trying too hard. We'll just kind of do the same thing we've been doing, and hope and pray it works.
There you go. So obviously the goal for each line is at least a win, right?
Yeah. So win a point, win a match, win the tournament. We do have so the semi-pro guys have an analytics coach, and he's phenomenal. Jonathan Freeman, he's a phenomenal coach. He captures all of the information we need and really puts it all together. So, and then Joey and Josh Milligan and all the guys kind of like work together. When they're not on the match, they'll kind of watch over the matches and see how each player is working, so we can be honest with everybody and sit who we need to, play who we need to, and win when we can.
Mm-hmm. You got some names on that now semi-pro line. At least from like back when before I came back into the sport, that I recognized as, really good guns.
Yeah. So
that were from down in Georgia.
Well, we got the talent of Georgia, right? So like there's only a handful of players in Georgia that were like, wow. And they got farmed out all the time and never was able to put together a team in Georgia for Georgia. Now we have it. You have Joey DiPolito, phenomenal gun, one of the most skilled players. He knows the game more than most. In Rios, if you're in the center and you were on the field period and playing against Aaron and you let him go to the center, you're in trouble. Aaron is so good in the center. You have Wes Ward, one of the smoothest snake players. Who has last year we had Alex Hicks. He stepped down this year, but Alex Hicks has gone off break. You can barely beat it, man. They're like it's always on point. And we have some really good players all around. Wes Ward, he's another player from Georgia that's been phenomenal for years. Who else has been out of Georgia? Tanner Conrad, phenomenal player. Blaine is absolutely one of the best players. He's played all over in the Carolinas too. For Gridlock, he played for Gridlock for a little bit. I don't think the pro team, but like their lower level. Mm-hmm. But yeah, you got some really good talent out there.
Have you guys had to deal with anyone trying to like grab any of your talent yet?
Not yet. Ronnie Tyner's another one. I didn't think about him. Ronnie Tyner is one of the best freaking all-around players you can ask for, man. And that guy, I'm a little worried we'll lose Ronnie one day because he's that kind of player.
A good problem to have.
Yeah.
So I think there's a couple guys on that line that you get.
Well, if you're playing on that, if you're a player on that line, you are definitely I'm at risk of losing them because every one of those guys, I mean, this team wasn't formed just because they were just best friends. This team was formed because they were best friends and they were damn good at paintball.
Yeah, I mean, those that know, and those names have been around for a while.
Yeah, that's right.
So how often do you actually get to play these days?
I play at least every weekend. I try to play Saturday and Sunday. Me and my wife will snap shoot in the backyard. Try to 2 or 3 times a week. Just try to keep our gun skills in check. We try to play as much as we can. I mean, we have the benefit of it being in our front yard, so it's kind of nice for us. I mean, literally in our front yard. You go out in my front yard, it's the most beautiful turf field you'll ever see in Georgia.
Yeah, it kills me that you said it doesn't get used that much anymore.
No, it is kind of saddening. I mean, we still use it at times, but really mainly for the kids now. I mean, they'll play football or baseball, kickball on it, so it's kind of cool.
Yeah, I bet it's a great surface for play. Yeah, that's kind of awesome, though. So you do a lot with the youth. What do you think is a new player, not even really a youth, but just someone new? What would you suggest for them to focus on right away?
Fundamentals, man. Gotta know how to hold your gun and, how to play a bunker. I mean, once you understand your fundamentals and actually get your mechanics right, you can be as slow or fast as you possibly want. Once you understand how to use that gun and use that bunker, that's the most important part.
What was the biggest challenge in starting the field?
The biggest challenge, let's see, the biggest challenge was, I don't really have many challenges. I mean, I can't really say much. I'm telling you, everything in this whole paintball thing has been so easy for me so far. And it's just worked. I'm blessed. I can't really say that there's a lot of challenges.
Well, hard work pays off.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for sure. But I'm trying to think. What's the biggest challenge for me? Keeping people happy. Just make sure everybody's leaving with a smile. I'll keep doing this as long as people are smiling. Once the smiles go away, so will I. So as long as everybody's happy, that's all it is.
I was like, great answer. So you came in, I think it's fair to say, like, you came into kind of like a dead spot as far as the field and the league went.
Yeah, it was a perfect timing. Nothing around, and there was some issues, and I hate it. But there's other fields that opened at the same exact time as me, and they didn't do as well, and I really hate it for them. It makes me feel kind of sad. Because we need every single field to be alive, man. I hate when any field struggles because that's what the future of paintball is. Bear Ridge can't be the only paintball field. If Bear Ridge is the only paintball field, then my reach is only so far. Those players, there's potential players that could be being developed, aren't going to be developed into paintball. So, it's saddening to see so many other fields struggle to get players.
Yeah. But you brought there was a hole there that you were able to fill, though, which
for sure.
Hey,
for sure.
Yeah, especially with Mario's field closing Nitro.
Yeah,
which I think had closed like 2 years before you opened. Is that about right?
I think so. I'm not sure because I was out of the game then. I think so. I think about 5 years ago. Yeah, maybe. Which was definitely a great thing for me in the location that I'm at because we're only 15, 20 minutes away from Nitro. So it's not that much longer of a drive for everybody that was coming. So I kind of feel like, as long as I could run it like Mario did, as long as I can kind of fill that void like Mario did, then I think we're in good shape,
Well, so far so good, buddy.
We're trying, it's easy to be a bad person. It's easy to be a bad person. Tough to be a good person all the time.
You got any superstitions or rituals you do before you got to play a event?
Hope and pray my air works, man. Make sure the air works. We can do anything else. Just, gosh, please let the air work. We've got a pretty good compressor now, but you never know. It's just that's the biggest issue. I remember the first NGXL. I was so excited, so nervous, and then I could not keep up with the air. We were shooting like 2,000 PSI the entire day. I'm like, oh my God. So I had to call. I think luckily I only had one division going on Saturday because the first year Division 5 was Saturday, Division 4 and Division 6 was on Sunday. So I call him and said, dude, I need you out here like right now. And he says, what's going on? I was like, dude, I cannot keep up with one field, much less 2 tomorrow. I need you out here right now. And he came out. He drove all night long to get out here. Will Lumpkin with can't even think of the compressor or something. I can't even think of the name of his business time. But he drove all night long just to get here. to get set up for us to have air Sunday morning for Division 4 Division 6. So yeah, that's my biggest
that's
concern.
awesome customer service.
Yeah, it was expensive, but
I'm sure.
it was fun though. I'm thankful for him, man. He ran my air all last year, or all first year, and then last year I ran my own air. So didn't have any air issues. I got my air guy coming up tomorrow to do the service on all of my compressors, and hopefully let's hope and pray we don't have any more air issues ever, and keep it going smooth.
And the first event's coming up, right? A month away, about.
Yes, it's a month away. Yes, the 22nd, 23rd.
Anything D4 play? What divisions and when are they playing?
So Division 4 and Division 6 they play on Saturday, and Division 5 and Youth League play on Sunday.
Okay, nice. And you mentioned pre-recording. You're running 3 fields this year.
Potentially, depends on if Division 6 does pick up even more. Division 6 is a little struggling this season, kind of expected because the first 2 seasons were really good. You can only pull so many at a time, right? So if it stays smaller like it is, we'll be okay with just running 2. But if it does pick up, we're going to have to push it back. We're going to have to push 3 fields.
All right.
We have the area. We have the area for 8 X-ball fields. So we have plenty of rooms.
Wow, yeah, I guess you do. I never thought of it as, but if you could do 8 in there, couldn't you?
Yeah. So like the first year we were on the opposite side of the property. We could put, I think 4. Yeah, we could put 4 there. I guess actually technically we could have 9 because 10 because where we're putting the premier field, I could put 2 fields there, and then I have 4 X-ball fields areas that not 4 constantly running fields, but 4 fields that we rotate on the normal side we're at now.
Gotcha. What I really like about the NGXL is the professionalism you guys brought to it with actually using the IDs instead of you're going to give me $50 for a piece of plastic that I'm going to tell you you're going to need, but you're not really going to need.
See, I'm a firm believer if I sell it, I'm going to use it. Uh-huh. So I'm not going to make you pay money for something that doesn't even get used. I get it. Those fees are important because the initial startup cost of each season is super expensive. So being able to collect those additional fees helps spread out the costs throughout the season. So it is very, very important. Not saying anything bad about any other series. So, I mean, it is needed. No fees are needed. Everything's so tight in the leagues. We try to keep our costs down as much as we can. So we're a little cheaper than everybody else. Those fees are needed, but I still want to hire somebody to, inspect those IDs, make sure that they're actually being used, make sure you get them. So yeah, I do think that it's needed. So I do think that being, proactive, checking them, making sure that we control who comes into the pit, so no theft happens, nobody's overpowering the pits. One of the biggest issues I have at NXL is you can be playing and you have 15 people that don't even belong in your team or even belong on a paintball field in the pits with you, and he's like, okay, I need space. We're in X-ball. I need all the space. I don't need your distractions. I need you out of here. So if I can control who comes in and comes out, then it helps the teams to be able to focus on the game just that much better. So that's why we try our best to really check it and make sure it actually happens.
Nice. Yeah, those NXL divisional pits are tiny.
And it's just like there's so many people, man. There's just so many people.
Well, is there anything we haven't covered that you feel or you want to cover?
No, I think we're good. What else do we have? I think one thing that I'm working with right now, I'm working with a good friend of mine, Sean Huskins. He created this new product. I think it's one of the coolest products. It's called the ball sack. Not the biggest fan of the name, but the product itself is phenomenal. First off, it's in a dry bag. One of the biggest things that you ever want to do is control the moisture, kind of control the weight of the ball. If you think about back when you're playing with your Tipman 98 Custom, shooting your marker with CO2, and that paint would just fly in every different direction. You'd think, why's my paint flying? It's not because it's just the worst paint. It's because that CO2 was throwing nothing but moisture on that ball, throwing off the balance of the ball. So with that product, and keeping it dry, it keeps your paint way more consistent. So I think that's one of the biggest things that's going to be coming out in the next year or two is that product. I think that's going to be a really good product to have. And it collapses down. So
is this like a loader to like load your pods with?
So yeah, kind of give you an example, prime example, the box loader, the little, So it's essentially the box loader. It's a little bit beefier. He's got a really good product on the bottom. This kind of keeps everything protected. And then it's a 10-liter dry storage bag that you can throw over your shoulder. You can carry it around. You can hang it from your tent. Now he has on the bottom of it, the base, he has 2 little stub outs that you can clamp it to a table and use it just like a stand up. And then when you get finished, whether you're ready to go home, you roll it up, you stick it in your gear bag, and it takes this much space. It's nothing. I think it's one of the greatest things. Like, you got the ball caddies, you have to carry those things. Like, you have to have 2 or 3 of those things to really keep up. And then carrying those big bulky things, they want to get busted or whatever. They don't really control moisture. The lids are never working properly. And then, constantly you're getting it taken away by people filling up their loaders with it. So, you should definitely check that out. It's called the Ball Sack. It's a good
check
product.
that out. I think I've seen it floating around on Facebook somewhere.
Yeah, so I'm getting involved in that a little bit. I think that's going to be a kind of cool little venture that I'll be, trekking in. I have one at the field, so if you ever back down, I'll let you play around with it. It's pretty cool.
I'll definitely be making the trip. I'm taking some time off.
Yeah,
the first part of the year, but
I get that.
I'll be. I've been out there. I went to Legendary Weapons, little practice for their start of the year.
They're great guys, man. Legendary Weapons. I love it. Adam's a great guy. I think they're doing good. Seeing their success and their growth has been really fun.
Yeah. He's got a good organization, good field up here. And then he actually just did one, I think Monday. I think he recorded an episode on Monday, so that'll be coming out. And then Josh from ICE also recorded one. Who's kind of
Josh Martin.
Yep.
Yeah, he's coming down next weekend. He'll be scrimmaging some of our guys down next weekend. So you'll hopefully they're ready for this next season. That's a good team.
Yeah,
Carolina Ice is a really good team. I was kind of disappointed that they didn't win one because, man, they were always just right there. And Josh Martin's always been a pretty cool guy, so I'm kind of excited to see his growth this year.
Yeah, they're and no off season for those guys. Really, both organizations, they've really just kind of kept on rolling.
Well, if you want to be a good team, there is no off season.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah, I had a meeting with the rodeo people that are also on our property, and they said, "Do y'all ever take any time off?" I was like, "No. The only time we ever shut down is when you guys are here and Jeep Fest. That's the only time we ever shut down. But we never stop. You can't improve sitting on the couch watching TV. You just can't.
No. And that, like you were saying, you and your wife will go out and snap shoot a little bit. Like that during the week stuff pays dividends.
Oh, for sure. Man, we just picked up Davis Stevens. He played on a D3 line last year. Picked him up on the semi-pro line. And that's that guy. He practices every Saturday, every Sunday. A lot of times, twice during the week. His snapshot is absolutely unreal. I hate him for as good as snap shooting he is. I was posted out on him, and I went to sleep on him, and he just snapped up, shot me, went down. Didn't even know what happened. He's so freaking good, dude. He's gonna be an animal in the semi-pro bracket this year.
Nice. Well, we're right over an hour, which is kind of like perfect for these things. So you want to shout out the guys you're working with for the team real quick, and the field again, and the league, and we'll wrap it up.
Give a shout out to Carbon. Carbon's been great. Valken, excited to shoot the best paint in the market right now. Shout out to Paul Sack. I think that's going to be a great product coming up. Bear Ridge, come and practice if you're in Georgia and you want to practice against some of the best players in the state. We are the place to be. NGXL, if you want to see one of the fastest growing leagues and something that cares about the player, come and try us out. Experience something that's going to be great. Yeah, I mean, keep coming out. Keep practicing, go to all your local fields, support everybody that you can, and, always improve. So anyway, yeah.
All right. That'll be a wrap. See you next time on the Planet Paintball Podcast.
Thanks for tuning in to the Planet Paintball Podcast. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. Whether you're out there grinding in the divisional pits or chasing dreams on the pro stage, remember, it's all about the passion, the hustle, and the love for the sport. Shout out to 1023 Sportswear for sponsoring the show. Don't forget to use code Planet Paintball at checkout for 20% off your order. Gear up, save big. Until next time, keep grinding, keep growing, and we'll see you back here on the Planet Paintball Podcast